Welcome to episode 47 of Paris Playbook. Today we're joined by Max Martin, the Wisconsin Windigo of the NAHL. Max, what's up?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to get some guys. I like getting people from different levels. Like it doesn't matter to me if you're playing juniors, you're playing D3, D1, whatever you're doing. And everybody's got a story, a journey. So I like getting people from a variety of places on the pod.
Sure.
So when did you start playing hockey? How old were you? Like, or I guess maybe when did you start skating? Because some people start skating
Yeah,
then they
so
play
uh,
hockey.
yeah, I started playing and skating when I was about 3 years old. My brother's 2 years older than me, and he started around five. So I kind of just started out at the same time as him and just took off from there.
Yeah, and I noticed that before growing up and stuff, obviously before the NAHL, you went the AAA route instead of
Yep.
high school. Was it ever a thought for you to play high school? Was like that a hard decision, or was it a pretty easy decision to make?
Yeah, so I'm from Taos City, Michigan, which is a tiny little town on Lake Huron. And we didn't have a high school hockey team until my freshman year.
Okay.
So I kind of had to do the travel hockey route. Like we only have like house hockey. There's nothing nearby. So I'd play in like Midland and Saginaw on the travel teams. And then so my freshman year, my brother was a senior, so it was a little bit of a tough decision not wanting to play, but our high school team is was new and didn't have much of like a reputation or anything. So I kind of had to go the AAA route just to play it safe
Okay.
instead of
That would
taking that big
explain
risk.
why they haven't been the greatest, because
Yep,
it's a
yeah.
newer program. I looking at the obviously, like I always look at the brackets and stuff. Houghton
Yep.
and Hancock Calumet are always in
Hmm.
there. Look at the
Yeah.
brackets, and I'd see your school,
Hmm.
and their record wasn't always the
Yep.
best.
Yeah,
Uh,
so they're a new program, but hopefully they start hitting the ground running and having some teams. Obviously, they don't have the history or anything like that, but you're
yeah,
always creating history once you start a program. So hopefully they can get it going.
yeah, it's hard to start a program at any level. I mean, Michigan high school hockey is pretty good. I mean, you got
Yeah.
so many
Oh yeah.
programs that have such a deep history, and you got some of the private schools that recruit. And I mean, it's hard to come
Yep.
in and
Oh yeah.
start a new program and have success right away.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the graduating class there this year had like 84 kids. So, and we don't have a co-op team, so it's just they're off to not a horrible start for what they had to start with. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not bad.
Yeah, that's the other thing,
Yeah.
not having a co-op. Often when like a new team starts,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
co-op, couple schools will co-op and they'll get things going. And yeah, 84 kids. Hey, Houghton, my class was like 85, and that was like the
Yeah.
smallest in a long
Yep.
time. But like when I was a senior, the freshman class at Houghton was like 145. So it was almost double us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah, and
crazy.
they have that long reputation of hockey up there and I mean a great coach there too. He's gone this year, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a good
It's
program.
yeah, different animal when you look at
Yep.
like
Oh yeah.
Houghton, Hancock, Calumet, some of those
Calumet,
schools.
yep.
You
Oh
go
yeah,
downstate,
Marquette.
you look at Brighton and
Yeah.
Heartland, and
Yep.
I mean some of these schools, and there's just so much history there. It's hard to come
Yeah.
in, and
Oh yeah.
it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, and we're in that like gray area where we're not Detroit, where they're big schools that Detroit area, and we're not the UP where they have that history of high school hockey. So we're kind of just in a weird area that's just
Yeah,
trying to find its feet. So yeah,
yeah. Well, hopefully they can, you know, get it figured out.
for sure. Yep. Yeah.
So that the AAA hockey, I noticed you played for a couple different teams. When you played for the
Yep.
Meyer team for a little while.
Yep.
So this might be a stupid question, but like, are you guys playing against Little Caesars, and like, is that
Yep.
the
Yeah.
same?
Yeah. So in the way the Michigan AAA hockey circuit works is there's eight AAA teams in the state at every age group, and there's not allowed to be any more. And there's the certain eight programs are the same programs every year. So it's
Okay,
like there was Meyer, which is Big Me now, Fox Motors, CompuWare, Bell Tire, Little Caesars, Victory Honda, Oakland Junior Grizzlies, and Honey Baked. So those are the
okay,
eight and nothing else. And then there's one outlier at 18U. They have the Sioux Indians. which you might
Yeah.
know of. They play, yep. So
Yep.
they're 18U AAA, but they have no other age groups.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you guys only play the Michigan schools, or do you play AAA programs from other states?
Yeah, we play from other states. I think the way it works is you play every team in Michigan 3 times. So that's, I mean, if you play 7 different teams, that's 21 games. Um, and then so we'd end up playing about 60. So 39 of our other games were against out of state teams, just going to tournaments or having tournaments here. Obviously, you can go play a weekend at in Cleveland. It's not too far of a drive. So stuff like that. It's kind of how it works.
You guys ever play high school teams, for like
We
exhibition matches or anything?
Yeah, so kind of they have the split season team. So the way high school does it is they form like basically super teams in
Yeah.
the fall. And so we played like T I know TPH has a team, MDHL does. So we'd play them like in the spring when they were running.
Yeah. But you
And
guys
then the
weren't like
only
actually playing Brighton High
no,
School or
no,
whatever.
no. And then with the only high schools we play is Culver. They're a high school, they're a military school actually in Indiana. And then Gilmore Academy is a high school in somewhere in Ohio. But
Okay.
other than that, we don't play any Michigan high school teams, unfortunately.
So you guys were playing the high schools you were playing are part of like the prep hockey league
Yep, they're the
that
prep leagues. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a different level of hockey
a
too. Like
whole
if
a
you
whole
look
different
at
animal. Yep.
yeah, whole
Yeah.
different animal because some of those
Yeah.
schools I know in the past years were at the Trenton Showcase.
Yep.
And then some of like I think Houghton had to play one of those schools this past year.
Yeah,
I was
I think Lake Forest, I think they were
yeah,
called.
yep,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So yeah, out
And they
of
might have beat
Illinois.
them. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
think
So
Houghton.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Yep.
it is
It's such a
crazy.
like complex world and all the hockey stuff. So it's
Right.
such a and like the more you like I have like friends that just like get into the hockey world and it's so like big, way bigger than people realize and it's super hard to navigate if you don't understand everything.
Yeah.
Especially once you start getting to juniors and all that stuff because there's so many leagues and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
looking at high school. I mean, we just talked about three. You got prep high school, you got regular high school, and then you got your like
Yep.
AAA. Then you
Yep.
get to juniors, and I mean, you could just like you got the NAHL 3, you got the NAHL, you got the
Yep.
the USPHL. You could just go on
Yep.
and on listing.
Oh yeah.
You got all these
Yep.
different you know, up in Canada, different junior leagues, and
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there's just so many of them. It's really
Hmm.
you can dive really deep into it, like you said,
Yeah.
and I feel like
Yep.
most people have no clue.
No, yeah, like you always say, like we have like you play junior hockey, and then that's just such a surface level thing of you're at, like what level you're playing, how deep it is, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's
Right.
over 10 leagues in the United States alone, and probably 15 to 20 in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
crazy.
just it is. It
It's
really is
wild.
crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so you played in Minot, your first
Yep.
NAHL team. Were you
Yep.
drafted or did you sign with them or how did you end
So
up there?
yeah, so so after my first year of 18U, I think I was 18 years old. I signed to play in Odessa, Texas, actually, with the Odessa Jackalopes.
Yeah.
A kid from Houghton signed with them this year, actually. I can't remember his name, but so I signed there and I went to training camp. I was there for 2 weeks and then I ended up getting cut. So I went to Canada to play in a Canadian junior A league called the CCHL in Pembroke, Ontario. And then that was the year after COVID. So Canada was super strict. So we got shut down for 2 months. So I came back. I decided to just come back to America and sign in
Yeah.
Minot for the next year. So I signed a tender, which is basically
Okay.
a contract for the next year.
So
So,
you played like 27 games and then were you
yep.
traded
Yep.
mid-season to the
I was
Windigo?
tra Yeah, so I was traded mid-season. I was Christmas break. I had gotten back to Minot on December 26th and just got called in the coach's office and said that they traded me to Wisconsin. So
It's
yeah,
kind of
it's great. Yeah.
crazy like junior hockey how much it's like the pro leagues like kids get
Yeah.
traded like you said
Yep.
you got tendered like guys are getting moved
Yeah.
around like it operates just
Yeah.
like a professional league does.
Yeah, I mean, I was 19 at the time, and I packed my car up the next day and drove 10 hours to Wisconsin, moved into a complete different household, a different family just the next day, just like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not actually I'm not that far from you. I live in Ironwood now. So I'm only
Okay,
like
yeah,
hour and a
yeah.
half from Eagle
Eagle, yep,
River.
the river,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to swing over on a weekend. I got
Yeah,
nothing going on and go to some
yeah, we
Windigo
got
games.
you should. The Dome's a super cool place if you have you ever been there?
No, I
No,
haven't.
it's a super cool rink that everyone should see at least once. It's awesome
Yeah.
there.
I have
So,
a buddy, guy I went to tech with. We were
okay.
both foresters, and he was from Eagle River, and he'd play on the
Oh,
Eagle
nice.
River Falcons every once
The
in a
Falcons,
while.
okay, yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
so
yeah, it's I it sounds like it's a cool barn. You know, everything he's talked
yeah,
about, and you know
yeah,
what people say, kind of a historic
mhm,
rink.
yep. Yeah, apparently there was, like, 3 dome hockey rinks built, and I think this is the last one standing.
Really?
Just yeah, from I mean, years and years and years ago, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty cool it's just this big wooden dome, and you just look up and you see all the architecture, super cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
yeah.
Um, so after you were traded, you ended up playing 36 games if we include playoffs. I mean,
Yep.
uh, not that you have a choice when you're traded, but did you like the Windigo better than being
Yeah,
in Minot? Were you happier when you got to the Windigo and you know going to the playoffs and everything?
yeah, so when I got traded, I loved the city of Minot and all the guys there, it was awesome. It's definitely, something I hadn't, like, ever been because 'cause I'm from a small town, we have, like, 2,000
Yeah,
people. So going to a town with, like, 50,000, tons of fans at the game was awesome, and it always sucks to leave the guys, but coming to Wisconsin, it was completely different, like, the city and everything and the guys and a whole new group, but I loved it, and I was so sad when it happened, and then, like, months later, I'm looking back and I was like, that was the best thing that's I've ever happened to me in my hockey career. Like it
yeah,
was just one of those things where in the time you think, oh my gosh, this sucks. And then you look back and you're like, that was awesome. And I
right.
loved every second of it. So yeah, I'm so happy it happened and definitely got lucky because I've had buddies that have been traded and it does not always work out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
things are going, I mean, awesome for you this year. You guys are what, 17 games in and you got 28 points. You're second
yeah,
in the league. So I mean, that's exciting to be, you
yeah.
know, one of the top players in the NAHL. I mean, that's not easy to do. I mean, it's a tough league. There's a lot of talent in the NAHL, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, off to a good start so far, so just kinda trying to focus game by game and
Yeah.
not always looking at the bigger picture and just trying to see what I can do to help the team win every night.
You don't want to get too sucked into like looking at
Yeah.
points and looking at
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, I'm here in the standings. Like, I got to make
Yep.
sure I keep maintaining.
Yeah.
You can get so
Yep.
sucked into all that crap, and then
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it it like pulls you back, and you're gonna fall
For
farther
sure.
behind the more you get like
Yep.
worry about that. Like you said, you just gotta go
Yeah.
game by game.
Yep. And, like, you can always go look at the game sheet after the game and see, "Oh, I had no points, but I played great and the team won." And it's like,
Yeah,
that's better than, having points in a loss, so and a team that's winning is always better than a team that's losing, so just doing
yeah,
what I can to
exactly.
help the team. So, yeah.
And I mean, there's other like the points aren't the only thing that define if like a
Yep.
hockey player is doing
Oh,
well.
yeah.
There's obviously a lot
For
of
sure.
things that like aren't show up on the stat sheet. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so
Block
many
shots,
different
yeah.
aspects. Yeah, exactly. Like you could
Yeah.
have 10 block shots and maybe you don't have any
Yeah.
goals, but like you were still a
Yeah.
huge contributor in that game.
Yep. Yeah, or like there's 2 minutes left in the game and you back check and stop them from having a breakaway, and that's
Yeah,
just as good as a goal, and it doesn't go on the goal sheet or the score sheet,
right.
so
And
stuff
nobody's
like
gonna
that.
talk about it.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, so,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
you know, hockey is obviously a brutal game,
yeah,
but I feel like it's brutal and kind of like how people judge players because they judge
yeah,
them just off of like look at the stat sheet
crazy.
and you're like, oh, this kid's
Yeah,
playing garbage because he doesn't have any goals. But like you gotta
yeah,
look
it's
deeper
like
than that.
yeah, yep, for sure. It's like, yeah, I mean and guys always go in slumps too and can't like, a goalie makes a great save, like, some guys get lucky bounces too. There's like so much factors that play into that kind of stuff that it's, like, so hard to judge someone off of.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's like
I feel like a lot of people who don't know hockey that well, they see the fancy moves, they see the fancy plays, and
Yeah.
they expect like, well, everybody playing in this league should be able to do that. How come?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, like I mean, this earlier this year I had a goal. I scored a goal and a guy like passed me the puck and it was in the air and I like put my hand up to try to catch it and it bounced off my hand and went in. And then like last weekend, like I had a open net, a guy passed me the puck, shot a one-timer, and this goalie made a diving glove save on me. So it's like I score one accidentally that goes in off my hand and then a great play, I just get robbed. So it's like
yeah.
it's just like that's just how it is. It's the bounces you get in hockey. So
Well, and there, I mean, there's so much more than just like skill, like puck handling and all that. Like you
yep.
got to be a
Oh
good
yeah.
skater. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who,
Yeah.
you see different people who have Instagram pages where all they do is like stick handling work.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
okay, obviously they're not great skaters because if they had
Yeah.
that stick handling and the skating, they'd be playing
Yeah.
somewhere, but they've only got one and not the
Yeah.
other.
They wouldn't be making videos on Instagram. So
Yeah.
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 And like
No.
yeah, like if you look at a hockey and even if you look at the NHL for example, like the 12 guys on the 12 forwards on an NHL team aren't the 12 most skilled forwards.
Right.
Like you need grinders too. You need guys that play the penalty kill, block shots, all that kind of stuff. So it's not
Yeah.
always pretty. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much you can look at when you're watching a hockey player.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different aspects of somebody's game. Where if you
Hmm.
actually like know hockey, you can watch it and be like, okay, this guy's really good at
Yep.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
some people, I mean, their skating is just like it's just
Yeah.
incredible how good
Yep.
they are
For
on the
sure.
ice.
Yeah. Just gets faster and faster. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You like watch some
Yeah.
of these guys and they get a breakaway, and you're like, oh my gosh, like some of these guys are like
He's gone.
rockets.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
And like me, I never been a hockey player. I hated skating
Uh-huh.
growing up. I hated it, and I like skating now. Like I like going to an outdoor rink
Yeah.
and just playing with
Mhm.
guys.
Yeah.
But when you watch like guys in the NHL and you go try to play in an outdoor rink and you realize like how hard it is and just like
Yeah.
what I
For
mean, like
sure.
you have
Yeah.
so much respect,
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
respect
It's
for the guys
yeah.
in well, not even just the NHL. You look at college
Yeah.
hockey,
Oh yeah.
juniors, the
Hmm.
ECHL, whatever league you're
Yep.
looking at.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
I mean,
great. Yeah. For sure.
like my whatever, like 10-year-old cousins can like they skate circles around me. I'm like, this is like, what I mean? Like I'm
This
11 years
sucks.
older than you are, or like 12 years
Yeah.
older, whatever, and you guys are
Yeah.
just making me look silly out here.
That's so funny. Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
you guys went up to Alaska for a trip, man. It's a pretty
Yeah.
far way to
Yep.
go from Eagle River up to Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way our division works is we have three teams up in Alaska. So we make two trips up there a year. So we made one 2 week the past 2 weeks, and then we make another one January, end of January. So it's a pretty cool experience. Not it's not always as awesome as people would think. You know, you're living in a hotel for 2 weeks, eating out every day because you don't have a kitchen or anything or a home cooked meal. So, but the scenery there is beautiful and it's hard to beat. And they got great fans up there too. So it's definitely a fun trip.
Yeah. How long is the
Yeah.
flight? I mean, I'm obviously got connections, but
Yeah. So we drive 4 hours to Minneapolis, and then it's like a 3.5 hour flight to Seattle, and then another 3.5 hour flight to Anchorage. And then we went to Kenai River the first weekend. So after that, we had a 3 hour drive on a bus to Kenai River. So the first travel day took 22 hours from start to finish.
that's
It was,
crazy.
it's not for everyone. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, we made it and definitely brings the guys closer together because you're with each other so much in
Yeah.
such a short span of time.
It's got to
So,
suck for
yeah.
the teams up in Alaska. Like they got to do a lot of
Yeah.
traveling
Oh, yeah.
down into
Yep.
the main United States.
Yeah. So they usually do like 4 weeks up there and then 4 weeks down here. I know some of the teams, they have host families in Alaska and in Minnesota. Like they have both. They just go back and forth.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's definitely crazy, but they make it work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
think I'd like that. Like I feel
No,
like that would
I
kind
wouldn't
of
either. Yeah.
maybe if it's your only option, like you're gonna take
Yeah.
it, obviously, but you got other
And like,
choices.
yeah. And like the time change too. Like you think like I mean, my parents watch all my games on all TV, and they're in Michigan. They're 4 hours behind, so
Yeah.
it's our game started at 7:30. It's 11:30 back home, and that's when pucks dropping. So they stay
Yeah.
up pretty late, which is awesome. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You're up in the middle of nowhere up in
yeah,
Alaska, kind of isolated
yep.
from the rest of the
Oh
world.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, that's one other
uh,
thing like about juniors. Like there's teams everywhere. Like
oh
obviously
my
scattered
gosh,
across Canada, up in
yeah,
Alaska, but then you got teams down in Texas. You got teams,
yeah,
down south. So you got
yeah,
some guys that are coming out of the rink in their flip flops and shorts. They could probably go hang out at the
yeah,
pool. Other
yeah.
guys are up in Alaska.
Yeah, like I mean, Alaska in Fairbanks, they had like a foot, almost a foot of snow, and then Corpus Christi, they have a team, and they're out on the beach. It's like
Yeah,
it's such a weird variety of living
yeah,
circumstances.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's another way. It's like just like the pros. You just got teams
yeah,
all over
yeah,
the place to travel, which I guess
yep,
is a good thing, because the
yeah,
goal playing
mhm,
junior hockey is to make it college and make it to
yep,
professional. So it really
yeah,
prepares you at a young
mhm,
age for
yeah,
dealing with that.
yeah. Kind of growing up fast. I mean, I moved away from home at 15 to billet. I billeted that young, so moved
That's
away
crazy.
15 years old, sophomore year to a whole new high school and everything.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
that is
crazy.
nuts.
Yep.
I can't even imagine.
So
Like I
yeah.
I lived away for one summer. Otherwise, I lived at home all through high school, all through college
Yeah.
because I went to tech
Yep.
and straight there.
Yeah.
And now
Mhm.
I live away, but like I
Yeah.
can't. You said you were
Yeah.
moved away at 15, and
Yep.
like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
nuts.
Sophomore and junior year, I lived in Grand Rapids. And then my senior year, did online school in Canada. So not the typical high school experience that everyone gets to have. So
No, no,
yeah, the
but
sacrifices
hey,
you make.
yeah, I
Yep.
was just gonna say you do a
Yeah.
lot for the game you love. Like whatever
Yeah.
sport
Yep.
people are playing, if you really love
Yeah.
it, people they make a lot of
Yeah.
sacrifices.
And, like, people would c like, I mean, call me crazy, call my parents crazy for doing it, and they were like, "We would do it again," like, letting your kid
Yeah,
chase his dreams, like, that's something any
yeah.
parent would love to do, so,
And it's paying
yeah.
off right now. Like you look at
Yeah,
your career, you're having a great year. You've had a great junior career so far.
yeah,
Things are paying off. That hard work,
yeah,
you know, it's paying off.
yeah,
That's got to feel good
okay,
for
yeah.
you. When you look back at the sacrifices and you look at like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm making it right now.
yeah, like, looking at the player I was then and all the hard work and just how my game's evolved as a whole, and honestly, how I've evolved as a person, like, comparing me to myself even 2 years ago is just crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super cool, yeah.
It's not even just a sports thing. It's just how you
Yeah,
grow and mature.
yeah,
Like you got to mature so
uh-huh.
much faster when you're moving
Yep,
out of the house at 15.
yeah, and, like, all the experiences I've gotten to have that not many people where I'm from have ever had. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a cool thing.
It is definitely really cool. Um,
Yeah.
One thing also about like hockey and I guess looking at juniors teams, there's so many teams. There's a lot of cool logos. Like obviously you
Yeah,
you guys have a pretty cool
yep,
one, the Wisconsin
yeah,
Windigo. But you
yep,
look across different junior leagues, like there's some really unique,
yeah,
sweet jerseys and
yep,
logos and stuff.
yeah. Yeah,
You guys got lucky.
there's a team in Minnesota, they're, like I think they're in the USPHL, and they're called the Minnesota Mullets. Like, just like they just got a bunch of teams with a bunch of cool names. So
Yeah.
there's like yeah, it's definitely cool. So to
Right.
see
You like
everything
you
and
mentioned the
yeah.
like the jackalopes. I mean,
Yep.
that's like yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I get everything.
like you got the Calgary Hitmen, like that's like
Yeah.
a
Just a cool
crazy
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah. For
with a
sure.
cool logo. So there's all kinds
Yeah.
of across different leagues.
Yeah.
Really
There's
cool.
like there's a new team in Detroit. They're like a semi-pro team, and they're called the Motor City Rockers.
Oh yeah.
And they got this super cool logo. It's like this
Yeah,
guy
he's
like
like
with a
his like
guitar.
hair
Yeah.
flowing, he's got a guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
Uh,
cool stuff like that. Yeah.
It is across hockey. There are,
Yeah.
I think hockey, like looking at sports, maybe baseball too, because you got so many different
Mhm.
like minor
Oh
league
yeah.
teams
Summer
have like
leagues,
the
yeah.
most unique mascot. Like you look at
Yeah.
football and like, okay,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, like
Yeah.
Washington Commanders, like that's the best name they
Yeah.
could come up with. Come on, they're like,
Yeah.
but I guess even in
Yeah.
baseball, like they changed the Cleveland to the Cleveland Guardians. Like I feel like that's so
Yeah,
generic. You look
Yeah,
at
it's like yeah. Yeah, you look at hockey names, they had an expansion team and they're called the Kraken, like
I know, like
something
that.
cool like that.
And
Yeah.
then the minor league team, the Savannah Ghost Pirates, like
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
those are
That's super
cool
cool.
names.
Yeah.
They put way
Yeah.
more effort into that than apparently
And
these
yeah,
other
and then
leagues do.
they have a new the Kraken's AHL team is the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's super cool. Like cool
yeah. The
stuff
Ghost
like
Pirates
that.
are
Just
the whatever
I think
the
the
Golden
ECHL
Knights,
affiliate. Yeah. Yeah, the
I think,
ECHL
something like
affiliate.
that.
Yep.
But yeah, the
Yeah.
Coachella Firebirds, and that's just
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
hockey,
Yeah.
they care more about unique, cool mascots,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many teams you got to try to be unique. So
You
just
do,
kind of create
yeah,
your own. Yeah.
right, and
I
that's
think
why.
the
Go
oh,
ahead.
what was that? Oh, okay. I think the Wendigo is super cool. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
something like, yeah, it's like, deer, like can't like mythical creature, like
yeah.
Wisconsin Eagle River. Like if you came here, you see, like, yeah, I can see why that's their mascot. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
uh, yeah.
So who is your favorite hockey player? I guess maybe growing up, or maybe it's somebody different now. I don't know.
Growing up, it was always Pavel. It was probably Pavel Datsuk, just being a
Yeah.
Michigan kid watching the Red Wings play. I like Claude Giroux a lot. For some reason, I just love the Flyers too. Back when I was growing up, my brother was a huge Rangers fan for some weird reason, and
Okay.
so they're them in Philadelphia are like huge rivals. So I just became a Flyers fan, so we had that little rivalry going on.
Yeah.
I remember it was like the 10 Winter Classic, and it's like right after Christmas. So for Christmas, I got the Flyers jersey, and he got the Rangers jersey. And I think we played mini sticks for like 5 hours while the game was going on. It was just we just had a rivalry like that. But yeah, Datsuk was always awesome to watch, and then I love Nick Lidstrom too from the Wings.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So are you a
those
are you a
guys.
Wings fan or a Flyers
Yeah,
fan?
I'm a Wings fan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and they're off to a hot start too. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Detroit sports might be
Yeah.
back. Let's hope.
I mean, if you're into that, that's a good thing. I don't
You're are
know.
you are you a Green Bay fan?
No, I'm not. I'm all over the
No,
board. People
you're
call
all
me a
over the board.
weirdo. I so I've been a Ducks fan for the longest time. I love the
Okay.
Ducks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big Notre Dame guy with like football,
Okay.
basketball, hockey.
Hmm.
I'm a
Yeah.
Diamondbacks fan, so I'm loving that right now in the
Okay.
World
Loving
Series.
that right now. Yeah.
Not doing too hot though. Gotta
Yeah. Tough game last night.
yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like I like the Celtics and I like the
Okay.
Tennessee Titans. So
All
no
right.
Michigan
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, you're kind of in like a weird spot. Like, I mean, you're so far from Detroit.
Right.
And
There's a
then,
lot
I mean,
of weird fans up here. You
yeah,
like
uh-huh, yeah,
I know Broncos fans.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of Vikings and then you got a lot of
yeah,
Bears fans and
Packers,
Green Bay.
yeah,
Like the whole NFC
yeah,
for football and NFC North is
mhm,
kind of spread out. But yeah, there's
yeah,
actually like not everybody is a Detroit sports fan, and maybe that's because
yeah.
it's been depressing too to be a Detroit sports fan.
Yes, yes, that's
Like
for
now there's
sure.
hope.
But
You got the Lions and the
Lions,
Red
yeah,
Wings.
yep.
Yeah,
So
there's I think some young talent on the Pistons. I don't know. They've been bad for a
I
long
hope
time too.
so. Yeah, it's they get so many high draft picks. You never know what's if they're ever gonna pan out. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, the Tigers too. Like
no,
oh man, not much to root for there.
no, not even much hope to look at for the future either.
No,
So
no,
yeah,
yeah. At
I
least
gotta
Detroit sports fans have the Lions and the Red Wings this year. I mean, the
yeah,
Red
yeah.
Wings, DeBrincat's playing out of his mind right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I can score whenever he wants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He
yeah,
is. He's nasty. It's so fun
yeah,
to watch hockey now. I mean, like the skill these guys have is so
yeah,
crazy. The moves
mhm,
they can pull. I
yeah.
mean, so how
And
hard
just
the
the
shot is for some of these guys too.
oh my gosh, yeah. And just the way the game's changed so much, like back in the old days, like the bruisers and enforcers and the fighters, like, and now it's just all like skill, fast hockey players. Like you got to be able to think the game nowadays that you didn't have to back in the day, and it's
Right.
not for everyone that can keep up with it. So
Yeah, and you
it's
look
hard.
at some of like the toughest guys in the league right now. Like
Yeah.
some of them are skill players. You look at like
Oh
Tachuk,
yeah.
Matthew Tachuk. I mean, that guy's
Oh
nasty.
yeah.
You piss him
Tom
off.
Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys that can
Tom Wilson.
score
Yeah.
and they're
Mhm.
Brad
Yeah.
Marchand. they're
Yep. Yeah.
nasty players and
Yeah. They can also fight you too. So you
yeah,
gotta watch out.
exactly. Like you
Yeah.
don't want
So.
to yeah, that's like honestly the ideal. Like if you're a hockey player,
Oh
you
yeah.
have that skill
Yeah.
and the
Oh yeah.
like looking at the Ducks, like
Yeah.
Zegras, the guy's got a lot of skill, but he's like a
Yeah.
beanpole. He can't fight. He couldn't do anything. He's so skinny and just like
Yeah. He's like yeah. Yeah. He's just like, yeah. He's kind of one of those guys. Like even like Jack Hughes. Like they're
yeah,
just those
same
super
thing.
skill guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
That
not big and they're not
nope.
like you don't want them to fight.
No.
Like
Yeah. You'd rather have him on the ice.
I'd be
Yeah.
okay if Matthew Tkachuk fight. He can
Yeah.
handle himself. Tom Wilson,
Yeah.
they can take care of
Yep.
business
Uh-huh.
and they'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jack Hughes guy tries to fight Hughes, you might want to have one of your buddies step in for him.
Yeah, you need you don't want to
So
risk that. You can't have
yeah,
Jack Hughes getting his face beat in. That's why every
for
team,
sure.
no matter how much like hockey goes away, every team has to have one enforcer. It won't work. You got to have
They
one.
should they should make like a mandatory rule
It
that they
should,
gotta have one.
honestly. I mean, somebody's got to protect
Yeah.
your young
Your top
talent.
guys. Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
gotta get scrammed from behind.
it happened to the Ducks. Was that 2 seasons ago or whatever? I remember watching it was something. There was like a hit, and I think
Hmm.
it was Jay Beagle or whatever was playing for
Hmm.
the Coyotes. He got pissed, and Troy Terry had to like step in and fight him. I mean, he's not a fighter, and he got his like
No.
face smashed in. I mean,
Yeah.
because the Ducks
Exactly.
had traded away Delorier like a couple of weeks
Okay.
before
Yeah.
that. They
So
had
they
no
just had
fighters
no one.
anymore.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Are you a
So
fighter? You ever been a fighter?
I haven't been. I haven't been in a fight. No, I like to. I mean, in our league, it's a 15-minute penalty. So
Yeah.
I like to be on the ice, and I don't like to take penalties. I like to play as much as I can.
You
So
guys
I'd
have any
rather be.
fighters?
We have guys that can fight. We do.
Yeah.
We have some guys that can fight. I wouldn't say we have fighters, but we have guys that can fight for sure. And
Yeah.
some
They
guys
just
that you definitely don't want to hit too hard in practice because
yeah.
they'll come back at you pretty hard. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good skill to have if you need it, you know?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Yep.
think you could drop the gloves if you had to?
If I was really mad, I think I could, but I could never fight someone for no reason. It'd have
Yeah.
to be a good reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't just those guys that come up to you and are like, "You want to fight?" and I wouldn't be able to because I have no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we ran one of our teammates from behind, and I got enraged. Then definitely, I think I'd be able to. So yeah,
Yeah. Um,
but
so what are your hobbies? Like when you're not obviously hockey consumes most of your life, but what
yeah,
are your other
a lot of the
hobbies?
time. So during the season, me and my buddies back home, we play NHL all the time. Like that's our thing to do in the winter because I mean it's cold outside. You can't even go
Yeah.
outside really here unless you're building a snowman or something. So me and my buddies back in Taos, we play NHL all the time. And then summertime, I love to golf. Golf's awesome. The gym always. I like to work out, especially in the summer. Just something about it that's just different. I don't know. I like it. And then we're right on Lake Huron, so go to the beach all the time with my friends and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you ever like golfing with the Windigo guys or is it like always back
Yeah,
home in
so
Taos?
yeah, so we're able to golf like a couple weeks here and there. Like I mean, we golfed in training camp up in Houghton. Um, we can golf in Eagle River for a couple weeks before as the season starts. And then at the very end of the year last year, we got out for a couple rounds, but that's about it.
Yeah. So who's the
Just
best
because
golfer on
the
the team?
weather. Oh gosh. Uh, I think I'm up there. We have Cam Barkham, who's from Houghton.
Yeah.
He's a good golfer. And yeah, but we have a lot of solid golfers. I don't know if we have any like studs, but we have a lot of solid golfers that can definitely hit the ball.
Yeah.
So
I feel
yeah,
like
we all
that
play.
kind of goes hand in hand. Like hockey
Yeah.
players, a lot of times
Oh
good
yeah.
golfers.
Yep. Yeah, we all play that big slice usually too that we got
Yeah.
from our hockey shot. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah.
good golfers. Yeah. Yeah. But Cam's probably the best, as much as I hate to say it. He is. Yeah.
Well, at least you can admit it, right? Like,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So
So
is that your favorite like non-hockey sport? Is it golf or?
probably. I mean, I played everything growing up, like everything you can think of. I was a big baseball guy. I loved baseball. I hurt my shoulder playing baseball, actually, surprisingly not hockey, and it kind of faded away as like how I like baseball. I love
Yeah.
playing football. I only got to do it 1 year, but I love football. I played basketball till 8th grade. Loved basketball. Like I still play in the summer with my friends back home. So, and then I played soccer or growing up. I love soccer too. So, but nowadays golf is because that's kind of the only thing I can, play competitively with like my
Right.
friends. We
It's not
can't
like you
really
can play football or like
yeah. Yeah. We can't really go to the football fields and say, "Hey, let's play tackle football."
yeah, yeah. And then you show up to
But
practice and a bunch of guys have broken ribs and collarbones and coach
yeah.
is just, pissed
Yeah.
and then your career is ruined. I mean, there's too
Yep.
much on the line.
Yeah,
You
for
can't
sure.
risk it.
Like, I've never been able to snowboard or ski because, injury and that kind of stuff. So that's something I'll definitely try to do after my playing career that I'm interested in, like snowboarding, that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
probably golf is the one I do the most. Me and my buddies back home, actually, we had a softball league. We had like 20 of us. We'd go play softball at the fields all the time, like the past 2 summers. It was super dumb, but
Yeah.
super fun. We had a ride out of it. So yeah,
Yeah. That's
but yeah,
another I guess way that athletes make sacrifice. I mean, talk about like sacrifices that people make for their sports, but you like
yeah,
sacrifice not trying out so much stuff that like everybody else can
yeah,
do. Like you said,
for
playing other
sure.
sports, skiing,
Yeah,
mountain biking or like whatever it
yeah,
is, like
yep,
other
for
extreme
sure.
sports, you can't do
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and like even just sports in general, like the AAA hockey we're August to April. I mean, I was only able to play hockey after 8th grade. Like I was never able to play like high school basketball, high school football, high school baseball because I was playing hockey all the time. So it's definitely something I would have wanted to do, but had to make that sacrifice to for my hockey career.
Yeah. It's all for the
Yeah.
love of the game.
Yep, for the love of the game. So yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
definitely.
Max,
Yeah.
buddy, thanks for hopping on the podcast. It was good time. Talk about a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, good
Yeah.
luck with
Thank
the
you for
rest of your
having me.
season.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So.